Hello, hello, and welcome to day 24 of 30 Days of Essential Oils. My name is Tammy Davis. I am your mentor guide and neighborhood alchemist on this journey. If this is your first time or your 100th time, just know that I am very happy to be sharing this information with you. Again, let me just reference this though. If you are new to this, please understand the information you're about to receive and any of the videos or the blogs that I write. That I don't share information that you can normally find on another website and or a book. This comes with 30 years of research, extensive research and application and practice, and which continues to go on. So a little bit of background about me. I am an internationally certified master clinical aromatherapist. I do have a background in pharmacology. Again, extensive work with the epigenome and plant constituents and how they affect the epigenome, as well as being considered in the area of drug development. Now, I don't propose to be practicing medicine. My focus primarily is the use of oils on the epigenome, and it's just become progressively more obvious as especially since I've done these. This is my second series on the oils. Regardless, I mean, that my thing is that I love the oils. I've been using them for a long time, as I've mentioned, yet the epigenome is a significant factor in all of this. Right now, it seems a majority, or there's a good portion of the population at the very least, that seems to think that the epigenome is static, and that once you have a double defect or, even a single defect, I mean, that something's seriously wrong. That couldn't be further from the truth. The epigenome is how an organism adapts to the environment. Now, this adaptation may occur as a result of just normal systemic function, like menstrual cycle, or fertile cycle, sleep cycle. Those kinds of things are all regulated by the epigenome. It's just consistent changing in the chemistry for use throughout the body. The neurochemistry, although it does affect our mind and our emotions, also is responsible for every function in the system. So depending on what's required, the epigenome will switch. We'll just flip a switch. That said, if we are stressed, or I should say if our lives our mind is being threatened, then the very same different reactions, it's not the same, but you know what I'm saying, the stress mechanism occurs, and again, it's the same types of function. Oh my gosh, it's the same sort of thing that goes on as if it were an internal shift, except that this is an external shift, and it's now, or an external prompter that is facilitating a need for change for the survival of the mechanism or the organism. And in this case, what you have is, significant changes with, again, with the chemistry that affects the lymph, the digestion, the hormonal, the mental, the immune, autonomic nervous system. All of it becomes affected because there's just massive shifts that are occurring. And as a result of that, the system changes because it's trying to survive. And truthfully, the body cannot distinguish the difference between a dog barking at you and potentially threatening you and you telling yourself that you suck at what you do and you'll never be successful. It doesn't know the difference. It just knows that both are upsetting. That's how I'll put that. Both are upsetting. And then what ultimately happens is, this is the reason why respiration increases. This is the reason why heart rate increases. If you've ever noticed when you become hard on yourself or you're feeling anxious about something, you can feel your heart beating. I mean, it's like there's an increase. It may not be excessive, but you can still feel the increase. So that's what the epigenome does. It's not static. It's very fluid, so to speak. And the oils really make a big difference for that. I recently did a class on doing holistic blending with oils, really trying to identify systems and so forth. And the epigenome, that's actually really very important when it comes to the epigenome, because as I've just kind of alluded to, every system is affected by the epigenome. It just is a matter of what's needing to take place. So my focus really is along the lines of using the oils as they can help modify or regulate epigenetic function. Now, this isn't practicing medicine. We just have a lot of people out there right now that are very involved with and becoming more, I don't know how to say it, as a consumer, more interested in the methylation and being able to support the body at that level. And I think that's fantastic. That's a wise thing, because, like I said, the epigenome has the ability to adapt. So really kind of coming at it from that angle. And that's where the oils will actually help, because they are signaling molecules like many lipophilic chemicals. They are signaling molecules, which means they can influence genetic activity. It's that simple. That's the reason why I encourage the use of oils in and around the epigenome. So again, go back and kind of take a look at other videos if you haven't already, and you can start to hear me say a lot of different things along these lines. In this case with spearmint, it is very effective on nitric oxide synthase, because it's very high in carbon. Now the challenge with, it's a little one, I could barely see it. The challenge with spearmint is that it is heavily adulterated with carbone. There's a number of people who specialize in testing oils for adulteration, and it's coming back that spearmint happens to be one of the biggest ones that is being affected. And sorry about that. I live in, I'm actually, what's really exciting is I'm buying a new house, because I've been living in this awesome little earthship kind of thing, but it doesn't it's the original windows were put in, that window back there, that has a screen. That door right there doesn't have a screen door. I've been renting this place, and the landlord won't do that. But like I said, I'm buying something, so that's awesome, which has screens. And the other windows that we have, the walls are almost 2 feet thick. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, it's really kind of hard to tell how thick the walls are, but they're the original walls, and the windows that they put in are open top to bottom, sideways like this, and they crank from the inside. And because of the types of windows and the size of the walls, there's no screens available for them. And I wasn't about to try and have fabricate anything and install them for my landlord, because he wasn't really up for that. So there you have it. Well, I gotta fly every once in a while. That's life. That's nature. Anyway, that was like a little crazy thing. I just noticed that the fly was around me. So that said, spearmint is a heavily adulterated oil, so you want to make sure that your source can provide you with proof that this is a pure, natural, authentic oil that has not been adulterated. And the way they do it, like I said, in this case, they're adulterating with carbone. Other oils get adulterated with other esters and so forth. Carbone happens to be a type of ketone. You don't want to use spearmint on an ongoing basis because of the ketone qualities to it. And at the same time, you want to, you can use it for the transfer of methyl groups. Now, you want to use it only if you're not using any type of naturopathic methylation accelerator. I have to make that abundantly clear. It's really important to remember that. And the reason I say that, it's just like with a lot of other oils and medications, they don't mix. And so oils don't necessarily always work with natural supplements either. And what I'm familiar with, because I've worked in naturopathic offices that issue supplements like that for the methylation process, there's such a thing called a methylation accelerator. And oils like spearmint will conflict with that and could potentially cause some serious rashes and other issues, because it's going to cause a sudden detox process that is less than favorable. However, it is a great substitute if you haven't seen dill. I'll just briefly mention that dill has, because of the constituents and the synergy of the constituents, is very good at removing yeast from the body. But if you already have yeast and you realize that you have some methylation challenges, spearmint might be a better place. See, there you go, because you're not, I don't want you, you want to just kind of change things up. So if you can use spearmint for a while to begin the process, use that in conjunction with something like laurel leaf to help move these, flush the system. Now you are looking at doing something that's beneficial for the nitric oxide synthase, and in turn making a difference for your body without hastening or pushing yeast out too quickly. But then you could also use dill in that mix as well. Well, not with the spearmint. I wouldn't do two of the same. I would mix it up with something else. But that's something that if you would consider taking a course, I'm actually thinking about making it several over several weeks period, where we talk about oils and epigenome and just go from there. However, other good options for spearmint is actually really big. So, and the reason I say it works, besides the carvone, that it works with nitric oxide synthase, is because it's exceptionally good for headaches, migraines, dizziness, lightheadedness, and even up to vertigo. So that's a third eye issue. For those of you who are very interested in chakras, spearmint would be very good for the third eye, and helping open that up. But again, it also does that due to its effect on the process of improving the neurochemistry production, because it also helps with mental clarity. You know, when you're mentally fatigued, spearmint will open you up. So this again is all implying its benefits on nitric oxide synthase in the respect of mental health. I want to just clarify that, because nitric oxide synthase has a variety of purposes in the system, mental health being one of them, respiratory, cardiovascular, and digestive health, as well as immune stabilization, is all based on the function of nitric oxide synthase. And so carvone begins that. Spearmint will help with this, but it's not the final answer when it comes to supporting nitric oxide synthase. And that's again, I just want to say that's something that we would talk more about in a course. But just for the sake of using spearmint, definitely. And you have to keep in mind, there are, I'm just thinking, I did a podcast yesterday. I'll put that link in the box below that you can listen to about going fragrance free, because people are talking about, really trying to encourage people to go fragrance free, but why it's not beneficial. It's not the only solution, or it's not the most. It'll be somewhat of a help, but not fully. And I talk about that there. But one of the things that I shared there, and I've said in other videos here, and you may or may not have heard this already, so if it's a repeat, thank you for hanging in there. Science has recognized that a lot of chemicals, or not a lot, but there's a number of chemicals found in essential oils that have the ability to influence tissue permeability. So they know how to influence tissue permeability in the brain. They recognize that bisabolol and nerolidol actually increase skin permeability, and menthol increases lung tissue permeability. They recognize this, and this is being factored into a lot of personal care products. However, spearmint does not have menthol, so you're good there. Anyway, but like I said, this one it has some antiseptic qualities to it, but truthfully, the best go-to for spearmint is when you're really feeling, when you're not clear in the head, you're feeling foggy, you're feeling dizzy, all of that, that's what spearmint is good for. If you already are working with methylation and MTHFR and nitric oxide synthase, using spearmint in the assistance of the transfer of methyl groups, which is absolutely necessary for helping with chemical conversions. This is why spearmint works with the nitric oxide, because there's a number of chemical conversions that have to occur there, and spearmint assists with that. Okay, so I think I've said enough about spearmint today. If you have any questions, please let me know. You're welcome to email me. I encourage you to possibly sign up for, sign up for Aromatherapy is a Lifestyle. It's a closed Facebook group, but the link is in the box below. Request to join. Check out all the information that I have there, and also my newsletter. So, which I'm late on just because I've been doing so many different things. Anyway, but I will get that out here shortly. So as you can tell, you only get one once a month. Anyway, hope to hear from you. Look, thank you again for being here, and you guys take care until tomorrow.